Good morning po. So, for today's video po, ay didiscuss po namin ang tidal energy. Renewable energy sources. Renewable energy came from a source that is not depleted when used, thus naturally replenish on a human time scale. So, renewable energy sources po, it is often referred to as clean energy. It comes from natural sources. For example nga po is yung sunlight, wind tides, waves, geothermal heat, and more. And here are the types of renewable energy sources. So, first one po is yung solar energy, which is yun po yung nanggagaling sa sunlight. And wind energy, yun po yung katulad po ng sa windmills, ganun. And hydrogen energy, yung sa water din po, parang katulad din po ng ocean energy. And hydropower, yung tatlo po na yun, yun po yung halos same lang po sila ng pinanggagalingan, which is yung water nga po. And geothermal power and bioenergy. Ocean energy or yung tidal power station po. Tidal power or tidal energy is harnessed by converting energy from tides into useful forms of power, mainly electricity using various methods. So, ito po yung example is yung sluice gate shutting po, which is yung it is produced by the surge of ocean waters during the rise and fall of tides. Ayan po, makikita po natin sa ilalim yung picture po. Ayan po yung example, yung pagpupush po yung pag-rise and fall po ng tide is nagpo-produce po siya ng power. Working principle. Tidal energy is created using the movement of our tides and oceans, where the intensity of the water from the rise and fall of tides is a form of kinetic energy. Tidal power surrounds gravitational hydropower, which uses the movement of water to push a turbine to generate electricity. So, yun nga po yung kanina yung na-explain ko po sa taas. Yun po yung pag-rise and pag-fall po ng water, ng tides. Yun po yung nagka-create po ng energy. Dahil po yun sa kinetic energy. Moon has something to do with the high tide and low tide. So, later po, may explain ko po yan. And if the moon can affect the nature, can it also affects us human? Yes, our weight decreases in a micro level only. And within a day, there are 2 times where high tides occur. So, ito po yung causes and frequency of tides. High and low tides are caused by the moon. So, ito po yung kanina na sinasabi po natin na moon has something to do with the high tide and low tide. High and low tide are caused by the moon. The moon's gravitational pull generates something called the tidal force. The tidal force causes Earth and its water to bulge out on the side closest to the moon and the side farthest from the moon. These bulges of water are high tides. Most coastal areas, with some exception, experience 2 high tides and 2 low tides every lunar day. Unlike a solar day, however, a lunar day is 24 hours and 50 minutes. And because the Earth rotates through tidal bulges, every lunar day, coastal areas experience 2 high tides and low tides every 24 hours and 50 minutes. High tides occur 12 hours and 25 minutes apart. It takes 6 hours and 12.5 minutes for the water at the shore to go from high to low or from low to high. So here are the frequency of tides. Low tide, 6 hours po, 12 to 5 minutes. 18 hours, 37.5 minutes. And sa high tide naman po is 12 hours and 25 minutes and 24 hours and 50 minutes. So, ito po makikita niyo po sa video yung pag-ikot po ng moon and yung pagbabago po ng tides dahil po doon. And the high tide on the side of Earth facing the moon is called by the high tide. The high tide caused by the bulge on the opposite side of Earth is called low high tide. A low high tide is A low high tide may be understood as the moon's tidal force pulling the planet, not the ocean, toward it. On the side facing the moon, the gravitational attraction between Earth and the moon is strongest on the side of the Earth that happens to be facing the moon, simply because it is closer. This attraction causes the water on this near side of Earth to be pulled toward the moon. Inertia attempts to keep the water in place, but the gravitational force exceeds it and the water is pulled toward the moon, causing a bulge of water on the near side to the moon. And on the opposite side of the Earth, or the far side, the gravitational attraction of the moon is less because it is farther away. Here, inertia exceeds the gravitational force. And the water tries to keep going in a straight line, moving away from the Earth, also forming a bulge. So, what causes the high tide on the side facing the moon nga po? The gravitational attraction between the Earth and the moon is yun po yung strongest on the side of the Earth that happens to be facing the moon. Kasi nga po, ito po ay mas malapit. And gravity and inertia act in the opposition on the Earth's ocean, creating tidal bulges. Gravity and inertia act in opposition on the Earth's ocean, creating tidal bulges on opposite sides of the planet on the near side of the Earth, the side facing the moon. The gravitational force of the moon pulls the ocean's water toward it, creating one bulge on the far side of the Earth. Inertia dominates, creating a second bulge.
And this is part of my report. Cause and frequency of tides. If high tides are caused by the gravitational pull of the moon on Earth opposite the moon, a low high tide may be understood as moon tidal force pulling the planet, not the ocean, toward it. So ayun nga, dahil sa lakas ng gravitational pull ng moon, nagkakreate ito ng high tide or ng tidal wave. On the side facing the moon, the gravitational attraction between the Earth and the moon is strongest on the side of the Earth that happens to be facing the moon. Simply because it is closer, this attraction causes the water on this near side of Earth to be pulled toward the moon as gravitational force acts to draw the water closer to the moon. Inertia attempts to keep the water in place, but the gravitational force exceeds it and the water is pulled toward the moon, causing a bulge of water on the near side toward the moon. Ross, D.A. 1995. On the opposite side of the Earth, or the far side, the gravitational attraction of the moon is less because it is farther away. Here, inertia exceeds the gravitational forces and the water tries to keep going in a straight line, moving away from Earth, also forming a bulge. Ross, D.A. 1995. Ayon kay Ross, D.A. noong 1995, ang gravitational pull ng moon kung saan nakatapat ito ng malakas, ang inertia or ang tidal wave ay nagpo-form ng bulge. In this picture, makita natin yung illustration ng moon. Gravitational pull na nagkakos ng tidal bulge o bulge. As you can see here, in our table is the 5 largest tidal power station, which is Siwa Lake Tidal Power Station from South Korea, Rance Tidal Power Station from France, Annapolis Royal Generating Station from Canada, Meijin from United Kingdom at yung Jinsha Tidal Power Station from China. Ang pinakamalaking tidal power station ay Siwa Lake Tidal Power Station na may capacity na 254 megawatts noong 2011 at ang Jinsha Tidal Power Station ang pinakamaliit na may capacity na 3.2 megawatts noong 1980. Ang tidal waves ay may tatlong types. Una ang tidal stream. Tidal stream generator na may similar daw sa wind turbines maliban sa ito ay nasa ibabaw ng tubig at connected din ito sa generator at nagkikreate ng electricity. Sunod ang tidal stream. Nagge-generate ito ng mas nagkikreate ng mas malakas na electricity dahil sa higher density ng tubig kesa sa hangin. At ang panghuli ay world's first tidal stream generator na kinonstruct noong 2007 sa Stanford Law in Northern Ireland. May iba't ibang different types din na ginagamit sa tidal stream. Tidal stream generator, ito ang HOUT, Horizontal Axis Wind Turbine, BOUT, Vertical Axis Wind Turbine, BOUT, Sabinons Turbines, HOUT, Tower Turbine at BOUT, Darius Turbine. Ito ay nakakatulong upang makapag-create ng maayos at mas malakas na electricity ang tidal stream generator. So this is the end of my report and thank you for watching.
Good day everyone, my name is Juan Orbidias from BSEE 3. Ang topic na di-discuss ko po ngayon is tidal barrage. Ang tidal barrage are low-wall dams usually installed at tidal inlets or estuaries. Ito daw po yung mga dam na mababa ang pader, kadalasang ilalagay sa mga tidal inlet or estero. Similar to traditional hydroelectric dams, sluice gates are used to create a reservoir on one side of the barrage. The barrage is secured to the sea floor while the top of the barrage is just slightly above where the water level hits during the highest tide. Ginagamit daw po ito upang lumikha ng reservoir sa isang gilid ng barrage. Ang tidal turbines are located towards the bottom of the barrage inside a tunnel which allow water to flow through. Ang mga tidal turbine daw po ay matatagpuan patungo sa ilalim ng barrage. Tidal barrage look like traditional hydropower dams. Turbines located along the bottom of the barrage are turned with the incoming and outgoing tides. Yun nga daw po, ang mga turbine na matatagpuan sa ilalim ng barrage are turned with the incoming or outgoing tides. During an incoming high tides, water flows over the turbine as the water rises. Then the water flows back through the turbines as it become low tide. The turbines are connected to a generator which produce electricity. Ang tubig na dumadaloy daw po sa mga turbine habang tumataas ang tubig. Pagkatapos ang tubig ay dumadaloy pabalik sa mga turbine habang ito ay nagiging low tide. After construction phase lasting 5 years, the Rance Tidal Power Station was opened on the 26th November 1966. This was the first power station to take advantage of tidal water flow to produce electricity. Tidal Power Station ay binuksan daw po noong November 26, 1966. Ito ang unang power station na sinamantala ang tidal water flow upang makagawa ng kuryente. Tidal Lagoon. A new tidal energy design option is to construct circular retaining walls embedded with turbines that can capture the potential energy tides. The created reservoirs are similar to those of tidal barrage, except the location is artificial and does not contain a pre-existing ecosystem. Ang mga gina ang mga ginawang reservoir ay katulad sa tidal barge, maliban ang lokasyon ay artificial at hindi naglalaman ng mga datit ng ecosystem. The Canceled Tidal Lagoon, 1C Bay in Wales. United Kingdom would have been the first tidal power station of this type of once built. Ito daw po yung mga first tidal power station. Advantages of tidal energy. Renewable. Tidal energy is renewable source of energy, which means the energy does not deplete as it is used. Ito daw po yung hindi nauubos habang ginagamit ito. Zero carbon emissions. In addition to being a renewable energy source, tidal power stations do not emit greenhouse gases during electricity generation. Ang mga tidal power station ay hindi naglalabas ng mga greenhouse gas sa panahon ng pagbuo ng kuryente. Predict, predictable, predictable. Tidal currents are highly predictable. Low and high tides follow well-known cycles, making it easier to know when power will be produced throughout the days. Ginagawang mas madaling malaman kung kailan lalabas ang kuryente sa buong araw. High power output. Tidal power plants are able to produce high amounts of electricity. One of the main reasons for this is because water is so dense, almost 800 times more dense than air. This means that a tidal turbine will produce sustainable more energy that it that a wind turbine of the same size. Nangangahulugan daw po ito na ang isang tidal turbine ay magbubunga ng higit na energy kaysa sa isang wind turbine na may parehong laki. Disadvantage of tidal energy, limited installation sites. In order for a tidal power plant to be built, the potential installation site must meet very specific requirements. First, they need to be located on a coastline, which limits potential station site to coastal states. There are additional requirements a potential site must meet. For example, tidal power stations need to be built in places where the difference in height between high and low tide is significant enough to power turbines. This limits where the power station can be installed, making it difficult for tidal power to be implemented widely. Halimbawa daw po, ang mga tidal power station ay kailangang itayo sa mga lugar kung saan ang pagkakaiba sa taas sa pagitan ng high tide at low tide ay sapat na para sa pagpapagana ng mga turbines. Expensive. One of the biggest drawbacks to tidal power is the high upfront cost. Tidal energy turbines need to be much sturdier than wind turbines because of high density of water. Most of the tidal power plants that are currently in operation are made of tidal barrage. The construction of tidal barrage is extremely expensive. The Rance power plant was the expensive to build in its day and took about 20 years to actually pay for itself. This is one of the major reason the proposed 30 billion Severn Barrage has not gone ahead. Ang mga tidal energy turbine ay kailangan mas matibay kaysa sa wind turbine dahil sa mataas na density ng tubig. Environmental effect. Tidal barrage disrupt the natural flow of water in the, and out of estuaries. This can have an effect of marine life, disrupting life cycle and spawning. Ito daw po yung yung ang mga underwater turbine ay may potential na pumatay ng marine life tulad ng wind turbine na pumapatay ng mga ibon. Yung nga daw po yung underwater turbines have the potential to kill marine life much like turbines kills bird. This concern is valid among all tidal power plants, but larger marine life is likely to only be affected by tidal stream generators. The future of tidal energy. Tidal energy has the potential to offer all the power of we need, eliminating the needs for fossil fuels as stated by CMEC Atlantis Energy. The tides moves a huge amount of water twice a day. Harnessing it, it could provide a great deals of energy, around 20% of Britain's needs. However, as tidal technology has only been available for a few decades, many challenges remain. British companies and universities are currently developing a new wave of technology. Now,